2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 11. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. All praise, honor, and glory to our power Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushua, Bahashem Machakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect of the tabernacles of David, scattered about the four corners of the earth, wherever you may be. Wherever you may be, to you I say Shalom, Yasharal, Shalom. All right, as we always quote, going into our AI chats, 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 11. That name or the word Satan in the Hebrew is Shaitan, which means adversary. Get an advantage. All right, pretty much that's straightforward what it sounds like. All right, to have an advantage over. All right, but we're not ignorant. Ignorant means to not know of his devices. Let's talk about them. So we have here. It's funny because I just picked up my phone. And as soon as I picked it up, this is one of the first notifications that came up right in my face, and it's brand new. So I know the spirit, led me right here to it, and immediately I jumped on it and tried to pull it up in Google. So it says, paralyzed woman writes her name for the first time in 20 years after having Elon Musk Neuralink chip implant surgery. And I believe the notification that came up was, I think it might have been a Google notification. All right, that's not a Google, excuse me, but a YouTube notification where it says first female implant revealed. Okay, there it says first female with a brain implant revealed. Okay, and so I immediately went to Google to punch it up, and so it was true. So we gotta talk about it. So paralyzed women rights, and this is from a random news article site. You know how these things are. You punch it up, and it'll give you different sites. So I just chose this one randomly. So paralyzed woman writes her name for the first time in 20 years after having Elon Musk Neuralink chip implant surgery. A quadriplegic patient has made history controlling a computer with their thoughts after receiving Elon Musk's revolutionary brain implant. Right. So we know, because we recently talked about all first 1 through 7 patients, and then the elder came up recently, all right, with revealing that they had a patient 8 and 9, all right, and so we also double back, following up on that to speak about it as well. So this is pretty much in the same category, same realm of things, all right, but this is it says the first female, okay, implant is being revealed, all right. So once again, a quadriplegic patient has made history controlling a computer with her thoughts after receiving Elon Musk's revolutionary brain implant. A woman paralyzed since 2005 has written her name for the first time in 2 decades thanks to Elon Musk. Audrey Cruz became the first woman in the world to undergo surgery earlier this month, receiving Mr. Musk's Neuralink chip implant, allowing her to control the computer with her mind. Ms. Cruz recently took to X to show the world how she was able to select a colored cursor on screen and assign her name through, there's that thing right there. Elon Musk dubbed it telepathy, as it says in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. All right, that they want to sit and deceive the Most High. Now, it's not Elon Musk; it's really the elites. All right, but further down in that chapter, where it mentions the other signs and wonders. All right, going into his devices, his left-handed miracles, all right, through the left-handed means witchcraft, sorcery, magic, as well as their technology, all right, and pairing those things together, and they want to what they call a fusion of man and machine. That's their idea for this future age world, or this false industrial revolution, as they call it. Okay, their new world order. Okay, is that what the Noah's order clone, something like that? So telepathy, all right, that's a lying sign and wonder. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. Okay, if you're not familiar with that verse, just go and read that chapter. It says she showed off, and the reason why I'm being brief with this is because I have a video that I want to show you, after I sign off. So it says she showed off how she could also draw pictures, scroll with the mouse, and use a keyboard just by thinking. Right, that's the telepathy there. I tried writing my name for the first time in 20 years. I'm working on it. LOL, she said. I'm the first woman in the world to do this. Okay. So now they're making it. I mean, it's not. Oh, bear with me. So like, yeah, I don't know. This is this. Man, let's just keep going. You know, they know you're doing something, and just it's the demons, man. So it says, I'm the first woman in the world to do this. So basically, they're making it a special revolutionary because all the patients, obviously, what 9 patients so called, um, have obviously been men minus one, which is a woman. So they're not revealing that there's a woman. So now they can push forward the same agenda, but also market towards the women. Like, hey, you know, for you women that have whatever shortcoming, this and that, and the third thing. Here's the first female to do it. So if you have this problem, named a female, you have ALS or whatever the case may be. All right. So you see what they're doing, all right? Because they're working forward towards their plan where everybody's jacking around and thinking what we're saying is not true. You know, the prophets that it is, and through the spirit and power, Yahweh Shema Shai, and so on and so forth. The devil is moving forward with this plan. So it says, I'm the first woman in the world to do this. There's her laptop. It's like a grid on her screen. Which there's grids on your cell phones, right? You know, like when your screen, because you can touch your screen and stuff. That's basically a grid. It says Audrey Cruz becomes the first woman to use Elon Musk's Neuralink chip to sign her name for the first time in 20 years. Ms. Cruz was left a quadriplegic at age 16 following a car accident that left the vertebrae in her neck permanently damaged. And so that's basically how their the machine sounded like the dude from Bad Boys when she had machine was, baby. But this is how their technology works, man. Okay, those systems that are broken, they don't function anymore. All right, they don't send off those neurological signals, electrical signals, and things of that nature. They're using their technology to reconnect those signals from your brain to whatever part of your body that has been disconnected from your brain, so that that part of your body can fire a signal back to the brain when your brain is trying to respond to that foot, your legs, or whatever, and actually make it work. All right. So Miss Cruz was left a quadriplegic at age 16 following a car accident that left the vertebrae in her neck permanently damaged. By 2016, tech billionaire Musk co-founded Neuralink with expert in neuroscience in hopes of using AI tech to treat brain disorders. And that's her right there. I don't even have you know what? I wouldn't probably usually do that, but that's her right there, Audrey Cruz, and she's going to be our thumbnail. Okay. So going on, it says Audrey Cruz was paralyzed 20 years ago after a horrific car accident. And that's her. Okay. There's they mentioned her trying to write her name, things of that nature, for the first time in 20 years. She has now written her name for the first time using her mind, thanks to Musk's neurological tech. All right. So they're making this thing and marketing this thing like such so great, but the scriptures say otherwise. Never trust thy enemy, for his iron rusted soul is his wickedness. Right? In the end, he will declare his wickedness. They're telling you that we created something that can help you, and it does. It can and it does. But what they're not telling you is what the true purpose is: to take over you and control you as if they are God. And once again, we're not talking about Musk or any other company. We're talking about the wicked elite, the bankers. 3 years later, he revealed the N1 chip, which is placed on the brain to translate electrical signals into tasks. That's exactly what we just explained there. You see? The electrical signals, your neurological pathways. Okay? Your brain fires an electrical signal through your neurological pathways to your toe to tell it to wiggle. But before that happens, the signal goes back from your toe to your brain, then your toe wiggles. It happens quicker than I can snap my finger. Just like I snap my finger, signals moved to get me to snap my finger. That's quicker than we can humanly and possibly imagine, right? Oh wait, did it cut us off? Oh no, there's more. There's more. Miss Cruz is just the 9th recipient. She underwent surgery at the University of Miami Health Center, where surgeons placed over 100 threads thinner than human hair into her motor cortex after drilling through her skull. The implant, roughly the size of a 10-cent coin, sends those signals to a linked computer or smartphone with Neuralink software via Bluetooth, allowing patients with paralysis or neurological conditions to communicate, digitally. Gotta say it slow. You see, everything the prophets have prophesied about, beginning with Apostle Tohar, Great Millstone, and on down, all right, to the to the little, nobody guys like myself, man, telling you the same thing over and over and over, because this is the next big bad on the list, okay, of prophecies. There's some prophecies still being fulfilled. All right, the final prophecies aren't the microchip in World War III, because there's prophecies in the Old Testament concerning blessings. Those are prophecies too, but that happens when the kingdom is established. So that's why I always say on this side, these are the final prophecies. But on the other side, there's still more prophecies that had to be fulfilled concerning the Old Testament prophecies. But on this side, this is up next. Okay, this is what's up next, regardless what any camp out there is telling you, that is white women, sin, embargoes, I don't know, the turtle that beat the hare, whatever. If they're not telling you, it is what our beloved Apostle John foretold us through Yahushua sending the angel, okay, in a vision, seeing things in heavens and all those different things. Seeing the milk, he saw everything that we needed to see, man, and he broke it down to us, love, so that we, in the time that it was going to matter, could understand. It is the mandatory implementation of the RFID microchip that give those devils, the bankers, full autonomy, all control over every aspect of your life from some remote location, because they will not be taking this. They will be the ones declaring themselves to be God. If you don't trust in the Lord, you're going to fall to this, man. And this is not even the actual chip, that, because we're talking about the actual chip, but this is the brain stuff. But it's all wrapped up in Revelation chapter 13, verse 16, 17, and 18, which you should be more than familiar with, unless you're new. All right, you get a pass if you're new, but if you are new, get in tune with Revelation chapter 13, the whole chapter really, but especially 16, 17, and 18, referring to the microchip, because that is the big bad wolf that's coming. Surgery for the Neuralink brain chip. Hey, what does the scripture say in Revelation? Is it 3 and 10? All right. The hour of temptation. It shall try the whole world. That word world there is oikoumene, which means every inhabited person on the planet. They don't care if you're old, young, all right, middle-aged, newborn baby. They want to slide a chip in you. And that's where the hopeful elect remnant are going to be pilgrims, going to go off the grid, and you're going to need your faith fully stocked up in Yahweh Shema Shai, which that happens now. You store up your treasures now. You store up your faith now. And then in the time to come, Lord will, all right, we be of that number. Okay, he protects us through these times, man, because we're going to need it. That's her getting better with her name, I guess, and drawing doodles. Imagine your pointer finger is left click and the cursor is with your wrist without physically doing it. Just a normal day using telepathy, she said. Ms. Cruz has also started taking requests of what to draw next, recently sketching a cat, a sun, a tree after being asked by ex-users. What is this? Is that a gun or a rainbow? I'm pretty sure I don't know what that is with the pink, purple, and blue. Okay. The implant comes from Musk's tech company Neuralink. Oh, there's that photo we just mentioned. She's also able to play simulation games, testing her accuracy. And see, this is something that I have to point out here, because you always keep hearing them talk about playing simulation games. Now, they may be playing it for their own fun and leisure, yes, but look what they attach to it. Testing her accuracy and speed. All right. So what they're doing is they're putting a video game, like, hey, video game. But what it's doing is feeding them back data so they can perfect their device, man. That's why I keep calling these people guinea pigs. And you always hear me reference that Venom movie, because they're guinea pigs, man. Having her cursor track points on the screen as they change. Mr. Musk even replied to a post about Miss Cruz's story. She is controlling her computer just by thinking. They called up above telepathy, right? Elon Musk wanted to call it that himself. Dub it telepathy. Most people don't realize this is possible, he said. Well, the technology won't allow, it's basically just Bluetooth, really, in a sense, because of course I don't know the real ins and outs how it works, but I mean, it's no different, right? That's how Bluetooth works. Okay, your earphones connect to your cell phone so you can play music in your ear. All right, I mean, anyways, while the technology won't allow her to regain movement of her limbs, the advancement has so far impressed Ms. Cruz, who hopes to make the most of it by writing a book about her experiences. And that's like the same guy we last talked about, which was actually not from Neuralink. He was from Synchron, the guy Rodney. He had ALS. Now, he can't really just jump up and do this and that and move around, but the devices were allowing him to interact with the world around him. Okay. The chip is powered by a small battery that charges wirelessly. Asked if she ever imagined being able to communicate and to see that there's right there. We just read it. See, asked if she, because it says communicate wirelessly, right? Asked if she ever imagined being able to communicate in such a way again. Miss Cruz had one response: "Not in all my wildest dreams, but the future. Wow, the future is here." You see? See, they're gonna play. Hey, hold on, we gotta do it first. We're tight. The heart. All right, that's my Green Goblin meme. Okay, what's the heart? Your heart is your mind. The word is lob in Hebrew. All right, they play on your emotions. They attack your mind. They weaken you. Push their devices. You eat it up, and before you know it, you're already destroyed. See, because you fell into their trap, man. You fell right into the trap, and that was it right there. So I'll end this and I'll play that because that video is like somewhere between 9 and 10 minutes long, so just enjoy it. Paralyzed woman writes her name for the first time in 20 years after having Elon Musk Neuralink chip implant surgery. Lord willing, you will edify. To Destiny Asharala. All right, stay alert. Shalom.
Elon Musk's Neuralink just performed 2 brain implant operations in 1 day. This includes the company's first female patient to receive the brain-computer interface chip. Neuralink's 8th and 9th human users have been revealed as Nick Ray and Audrey Cruz. Both of them underwent surgery at the University of Miami Health Center, where Neuralink's autonomous robot device threaded ultrafine wires into the outer layer of their brain. The wires are then connected to a Fitbit-like mini-computer that gets placed inside the person's skull, which then connects through Bluetooth to control laptops and smart devices. So, the same way that you would use a wireless mouse with your hand, these Neuralink patients are using their thoughts. The company calls this application telepathy. Patient number 8 is Nick, a man who is suffering from the degenerative effects of ALS, a disease that's left him paralyzed from the neck down. It's an ailment that Nick has come to see as an opportunity to put himself on the cutting edge of brain-computer interface and AI research. Nick became a member of the Miami Project to Cure Paralysis, which led him into the Neuralink Prime study. As a longtime fan of cyberpunk literature like Johnny Mnemonic and Neuromancer, Nick has had a long-time dream of experimenting with BCI and working beyond the limitations of the physical body. Nick wrote in a post on X, "On the very first day using my BCI, I was afforded a glimpse, the slightest whiff of the capabilities I will achieve with practice, and it is so far beyond anything I could have dreamt of as an able-bodied individual." Audrey is patient number 9, a 36-year-old woman from Louisiana. Severe injuries from a car accident at the age of 16 left her a quadriplegic with no feeling in her arms and legs. In her own post on X, Audrey shared that everything was going amazing after the surgery, which involved Neuralink drilling a hole in her skull and implanting 128 electrode threads into her motor cortex. What's interesting is that Audrey's implant was connected with double the number of threads as patient number 1, Nolan Arbaugh, who had 64 wires placed in his brain, most of which later retracted and fell out. Audrey's first real-world application for the Neuralink technology has been making art. She started by writing her name for the first time in 20 years, which was pretty good considering she'd only had a few days of practice at that point, and then has moved on to nature and animal drawings that she posts on her X account. Audrey says that she just imagines using her finger to click and using her wrist to move the cursor like a mouse. The Neuralink implant decodes those signals in her brain to control the computer. Audrey's big plan right now is to use the technology to write a book that tells her story of living as a quadriplegic since the age of 16. One thing she did stress is that the Neuralink implant will not give her the ability to walk or regain the movement in her limbs. Not anytime soon, at least. But that is one of the many things that the company is working towards in the future, which also includes restoring eyesight to the blind. Ever feel like the news just tosses headlines at you and expects you to sift through the noise? Take this recent case. Tesla launched its much-hyped robotaxi service in Austin on June 22nd. But within hours, videos started circulating of one of these self-driving taxis braking erratically, drifting into wrong lanes, or mismanaging intersections, even driving on the wrong side of the street. In today's news landscape, you have to question who is saying what and why. But now, Ground News does that for you. You can see the bias distribution is relatively centered, but if you want to know what both the left and right are saying, you can find out with a few clicks, and thanks to the blind spot feature, you can even catch angles that one side is covering that the other isn't. Plus, it's ad-free. No algorithm pushing drama, just facts. Want to live in a bubble? Go ahead. Want to stay informed smartly? Ground News is the tool. And fun fact, the founder of Ground News is a former NASA engineer, so the platform is built with analytical rigor, presenting source bias, reliability, and ownership context at a glance. Right now, only through our link, you can get unlimited access at 40% off their Vantage plan, or scan the QR code on the screen, empowering yourself with a more balanced news intake while also supporting the Tesla space. Check out the link in the description below. It's ground.news/Tesla space, and let Ground News help you see the full picture. Now let's get back to the rest of the video. Neuralink has recently entered into a new study that is aimed at developing the world's first bionic eye, essentially a visual prosthetic that would allow blind people to live a normal life. The research is being done in partnership with the University of California and a university from Spain. Visual prosthetics are not exactly new. Over a dozen of these implants have been developed over the years. 6 of them are currently involved in active clinical trials, but so far, nothing has proved to be successful for an effective, large-scale solution. The bionic eye itself is only half the battle, though. It's really just a digital camera that gets wired into the subject's brain. It's the brain interface that poses the biggest challenge, and that seems to be where Neuralink is excelling right now. But there's a big difference between moving a cursor on a screen and projecting an image into a person's vision. For the bionic eye to work, Neuralink will need to put 2 implants into the back of the patient's skull, one on each side, and they'll need to use larger electrode threads that can carry more electricity to stimulate the brain tissue. So far, Neuralink has just been reading brain activity like an output device, so now they need to learn how to go the other way and create an input. At first, this will look very basic. A person wearing camera-equipped glasses will be able to see white dots in the center of their visual field that will give them a sense of objects directly ahead. But over time, Neuralink believes that this can evolve into a bionic eyeball and a clarity of vision that is far beyond what any human being would be capable of. A Neuralink user could even see light that is invisible to the human eye, like infrared or ultraviolet. Anyway, that's all cool, but bringing things back down to a more practical level, Tesla is finally about to release their long-awaited, more affordable electric car, and we've got our first look at what this vehicle will offer.